Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. At last, it is time. It's time for the very much finale of what I reckon is going to be perhaps the most climatic of them all. Also, apologies if this monitor and everything else seems a little different. Yeah, I have some exciting news to share in regards to that one, but I suppose I'll wait till the right time for that. But, alas, alright, I'm going to actually fix this, I'm having to record things just slightly differently. And you'll understand that when I say that, instead of the horizontal things being more of an issue, it's now, instead of the top and bottom vertical and that being an issue, it's now the horizontal, left and right. This can make for good recording, and that, I'll try and make sense of it near the time. But essentially, this new Windows, yes. There's been a thing where I figured with the monitor, a lot of the stuff I used to have was old as fuck, essentially. Oh, you know what? Fuck. I'll save it for when we get to that part of this quest, and that, because really it's going to be technical jargon and not exactly the most exciting topic, but hey ho. So, alright, leaving that big one for now. Yes, we have Song of the Elves. Very much this is the latest Grandmaster quest, and still is, and as of the, let me think here, the 15th of November 2020, yes, day of this recording and all indeed. This is pretty much where, Jagex, I think, wanted to try and create their own Prifni Das, and as we know what came from that, it's been a mixture of good and bad, and that, Gauntlet was certainly good. The Rabbit, you're just kind of out there, certainly unique, but yeah, it's out there, and Zalcano, maybe very slightly positive, but mostly filled with negatives, because gold farmers, and then I have a whole bunch to say about them. But yeah, essentially this follows the whole kind of quest we've been starting with, I want to say, Biohazard, and that was first in this quest, I think, and that, but yeah, and now, indeed, here's this fellow, King Lathas, who, fun times indeed. Oh boy. Yeah, this thing here, it's like, god damn. When it comes to the Grandmaster quests, they take their lore quite seriously, and this here is no bloody exception. That much I can say without doubt. It's... Oh man. Where can I even go though from here? Obviously, as far as the quest, I've said was that I believe I said it, I finally described it as a song of bananas, dragons, elves, that's the part of it now, and I believe the fourth one, which I'm speculating has to do with vampires, so bananas, dragons, elves, although maybe not bananas, monkeys, dragons, elves, and I would like to say blood, but no, vampires. We've not reached that point yet with the series, and I will admit, just as far as my contentions with Song Politics, I am kind of shocked he's not even engaged in the content. More of they didn't count when I started, so I'll wait till after I'm done with Theatre of Blood. So, I mean, who the fuck knows with that? But yeah, as I say, lots of people have been either addicted to him or just put off by him and that, and I find myself on two different sides of the camp, and that, but that's a whole different topic in itself, and we'll get to that when we get to it. So, alrighty then, before we go ahead with unlocking the iconic question mark Ardowny Knight armour set, and that, I don't know if it's partially from memes or if it's just something that managed to fit in and make it look natural as part of the storyline. We may as well get to the news. Right, because right now, obviously, I'm still working at Seth Skylights, looking to be pretty good, but holy fuck have I been slow at it, you know, due to work ramping up and that, and I reckon it's only going to get worse from here with the whole tax year thing kind of coming around. It's fun, but as I say, maybe also the fact that Windows 10, yeah, it's kind of small, and you know, like, I'm beginning to understand why people, you know, just said, oh, Old School Runescape's too small, and at the point with my resolution being 1280 by, I think, 10, I forget the exact resolution, but that was good back then. Now it's like something like 1600 by 1300-ish, and it's just, it's pish. And, you know, it'll only get worse when I get a really high resolution. It's just, nope. Hopefully Nvidia comes to the rescue and I can make my own custom resolution to get ideally back, but I'll explain more of that, you know, my whole thing with it, you know, because indeed, technical jargon again. So, alright, starting off, well, as indeed this is like over a month ago, and that indeed struggling to catch up with the news, yeah. So, account hijackings, yes, this topic indeed is continuing to rise as people get suspicious what is very much a potential Jagex security leak, or what is possibly the rise of a second mod Jed. I alluded to this as much as I did with the dual arena video I did last time, considering that as far as people are concerned in that, there seems to be a lot of, there's something going on, and there's some telltale signs that it's not entirely, you know, unexpected, or, you know, like what's the fucking thing you call it? Tin hat conspiracy theory, you know, it's like people find that, you know, after what happened with Jed and that, no cards are off the table, so to speak. Yeah, no, and it's just like, how do you go about, you know, just, it's that doubt and that, like, you know, they mean well, but it doesn't help that upper management has their own things. And also, yes, that armour indeed accepts as a bit of a unique model because they're females and why not? But yeah, just with that thing in mind and that, you know, I reckon that people get wary of Jagex. What's their intentions for as far as this game's concerned? Because trust me, this game can have quite a strong legacy if it's managed properly. Keyword being if it's managed properly. And that, you know, it's like, certainly, I don't know, problematic in its own way, but as I say in that, the security leak, as I say, there's been contentions about that, you know, I'll get more on that security leak, because it might not be, oh, they're just like handing out passwords, or, you know, like, I mean, there could be, but not in the way you might think, and that, but I'll get onto that near the time. So, moving on from that, oh yeah, here's a fellow who I believe at one point was, you know, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not reviled. Renowned, and that, yes, he was very much, you know, proudly welcomed by the Old School Runescape community early on. And that, yeah, and it's like, yeah, this whole thing with him just kind of turning to, indeed, the dark side, as it were. And that, you know, because he's been involved in all sorts of scams, real world training activities, and been banned on more than one occasion, so... yeah, he's safe to say he's got a bit of a bad reputation now, you know, it's like people don't like him, where before, I reckon they were like, alright with him, like just tolerating him, you know, but nah, he just pushed it too far. Kind of like how a friend did, but he's managed to make some of recovery to a degree, so at least he's earned that much, but alas, so the problem with Return of Wilder this time is, yeah, oh boy, who would have fucking thunk? The Gielinor of all things, the Sand Casino. Yeah, his attempts of justifying it as a quote-unquote player-run game is yeah, it's pretty bad, because it's the whole thing of him trying to justify the real-world training activities and that, saying, you know, I think it used to be, if I recall correctly, his argument was, there is no real-world training, it's just, you know, there's a lot of money being exchanged, there's no real-world training, and once that excuse got just thrown out the window, then it's like, oh no, it's a player-run game, and that, you know, we just set our own rules now, there's no, like, you know, it's justifiable, like, come off it. You know, this is where a lot of people will do anything. You know, I still reminds me a good deal of, was it, Electronic Arts and their kind of whole stink about keeping loot boxes, and, you know, was it, it's surprise mechanics, and like, fuck off. Yeah, no, nobody's buying that anymore. It's, It's the same thing here in essence, and I dare say, the same thing with Jagex with their treasure hunt thing over RuneScape 3 and that they're trying to justify, indoctrinate, train their loyal RuneScape 3 subjects into defending or at least tolerating it, I think somebody actually said on Reddit, like, the people who are really addicted to RuneScape with microtransactions, they're conditioned to not expect as much from games and just defend what is there because it is that iconic, famous brand they recognise from since their days as a kid. I do have that nostalgia, but I don't let it blind me and that. It's like, as I say, I think after this kind of recording videos and that, I'm not going to have much time to be able to play games at all, and I was already limited me going full time, so it's like, nah. I reckon it's good that I can end on something of a high note, akin to that Hydra's Claw, the pet and all that. That's pretty high. Not as high as the sigil. I would have fucking killed to have a sigil, even the spectral. But it's a high nonetheless. And I can go relatively happy that I managed to obtain quite a good item indeed. So, yeah, with all that having been said, yes, so I reckon as far as the jewellery now, I just think it's going to end up sooner or later. They'll have to take action if they want to avoid some bad PR, which, with the right crafty people and that, the only problem is they'll have to get somebody who's famous or popular in the RuneScape community to do that, and they have a lot to risk because it's their reputation in the line. It's like, do we support Jagex and just shun away the players who want change, who even they're meaning well, or do we side with players and risk really pissing off Jagex to the point where we'll get no longer favouritism, certain things might happen, just mysteriously, and I'm not joking about that. People, when you piss off somebody you're no longer on good terms with, they will start acting differently. That is beyond a fucking doubt. And it's like, I think they're worried that might happen to us as well. It's a weird psychological thing, but that's Jagex for you, or perhaps maybe if not them, then it's a bloody Honours Fukong who've tried to disguise themselves. MacArthur, fortune holding, a la bullshit British name, yes. Or even then, they're fucking America anyway, so yeah, just double insulting in that. But anyhow, yeah. Oh, this is how you can tell it's really old. All right, the next news coming up here is a refusal to give up the Revenant Caves and insistent on pushing the Vesta Longsword shows a convenience trend of Jagex diminishing the values of the polling system. Despite the fact that, the Revenant Caves have now been nerfed and that, so I reckon this is just their last sort of push in that to try and say, don't bother with this, it's fine as this, they're just really being fucking adamant. Like, and I'm not kidding you, some of the developers are a bit bullheaded and that, really like, honestly, some of them are, I'm not trying to come with some insulting here, but some of them can be little stubborn fucks and that, and it's like, it's the kind of thing like, my way is the right way, being close-minded. I think it's a case of, it's not what you think as a developer, is if the majority of the players, who, based on the polling system, they think it should be done this way. The problem is, it's like, when I say majority, I'm not talking like the super majority 75% above. It's like one of those cases where it's good for the health of the game, but it also benefits players, and they're trying to reverse that, so it has to be integrity, but they're kind of like, we found it's like this or that, it's like, and also the Vesta Longsword bullshit, it's like, I think some people are mistaken that they are actually interested in PvP sort of scene and all that. They're just doing it in all the wrong ways. And now, this whole Vesta Longsword, nobody really asked for it. It's like, and now Bonnie Hart is fucking gone. It's like, they're trying to put forward as, I believe it's like, want to put on the PvP worlds, and even quite possibly on the main fucking game, which is like, oh god, that could go all sorts of ways wrong. And it's like, people have tried to justify, oh no, it's not actually that strong as an AGS, it's just it's a slightly better whip or blade of sailed or something like that. I believe it's actually quite strong, like not strong in the sense that I could hit like 60s and 70s, but it is very fucking accurate. Also, damn, we have to shift this again. There we go. So, as far as my general contentions with the Vesta Longsword, I'm not a PKer. The most I did PK was back in that last one standing bowling thing where that was hugely scuffed. And I felt really good, but that's not like, it's half a legitimate PK kill because you're going against people who are shit PKing, but nah, I'm not built to be a PKer, if I'm being honest in that, And I'm fine with that, but that's a trend with this whole Vestalongs are trying to get PKers that extra powerful weapon to have their little fun with. Yeah, helpless, innocent PVMers and skillers, I don't know why they have this fascination with the wilderness to be that way, but it is what it is. And so we shall see how it goes. But yeah, so, alright, after that, indeed you'll see here of the plot progressing and that, overturning the King Lathas and that, I forget, the fake plague and all that. Yeah, causing a ruckus and that. An interesting one, indeed. But, yeah, so, as far as the next news is concerned, yes, with Odablock, he's kind of a, not a really good content streamer he's not a good, he's not a good content creator for the streaming scene, and that particularly with regards to how much he gets involved with the Gielinor / San Casino scene. I find that, in particular, how he goes about making it seem like, it's a cool thing to do, like getting people involved, and I guarantee you a part of his sort of donators are, I'd wager it's potential reward train, just really well disguised, like, I'm doing all these edgy, like, really high stakes, like 20, 50, 100 plus million, probably a few billion here and there, sort of stakes, and like, make it really risky and all that. I guarantee you some of those stakes are faked, in the sense that he intentionally wins or he intentionally loses, depending on who's buying or selling. And that's why I reckon there's a considerable crowd that he has, partially because people actually think it's real, and other people are there to kind of put in their own kind of things. But I don't know the exact ins and outs and that. Despite a bunch of ads I get for reward trading, gold buying and all that, I've not once fucking clicked on any of those websites, because it is like, nah. Not even the bot websites, even for curiosity's sake, it's like too dodgy. Like, the only chance that would have came up is probably because I searched for the occasional bot or reward trading, but I was less to get into it, more to hear the discussions surrounding it, mainly Reddit and that. So, if that makes me a real world trader, just typing up about it and find more about it so I can hear people's discussions, I guess that makes me a real world trader, or a gold farmer, or a botter. Even though that is hugely flawed argument, but alas, that is what it is. So, anyhow, all that aside, and he's been caught. Oh, the reason people have been saying he's been caught real world trading roughly 10 billion GP instead of being the sly way was he unusually, apparently people said that he just flat out just got disconnected instead of the usual. He would kind of, I don't know how people do it, and now, if they kind of have prayers activated and then the one in party just uses prayers and the other one doesn't, and that, but he apparently just kind of fucked up, and people thought the disconnection was a bit suspicious, and doubly so when he started deleting video on demand and trying to cover up and just say, it was because there was music playing and that, despite the fact that hasn't really happened, and if it has, it's been weeks or months apart, not literally hours and that beforehand. So, a bit suspicious indeed, and I reckon, as I say, some of the Jagex moderators have a stake, no pun intended, on the Gielinor, so they're kind of I understand why, the bots and that, they provide a bunch of gold, so do the actual gold farmers. A lot of them create bonds and that to meet up with this demand. Bonds, instead of going quite short, they end up shooting up to high prices. This means that people who actually want to buy bonds and that to get, money, they end up buying it, so that microtransactions are more lucrative? Yeah, lucrative, that's the word. And essentially, it results in, this problem of, Jagex being complicit with making bonds more desirable and that. So instead of what could have been as low as 3-4 million, or possibly even less than 3 mil, it's now barely below 5 mil, and actually last time I checked, it was actually 6.2 million, an all-time high. And honestly, I would not be surprised if it goes even higher. I think part of it might be because of leaks and that, but holy fuck. So I'm telling you folks, it's there is a lot of money gets exchanged and that, but I feel like instead of feeling, it does work as a gold thing, but it also works as a means to get a lot of gold farmers kind of involved. It's a real world trade. It's like, what if, yeah, say the jewellery tax was just gone because, you know, no more jewellery now, or no more staking in essence, but you put in a GE tax. How does that fuel gambling, which then fuels real world trading exactly? It will probably fuel scamming more because people are like, oh, I don't want to pay this tax, I'll risk it, but that's the risk you put on yourself. And that is a similar thing with Gielinor, but it's a bit more complicated because of the nature of staking, you know, real world trading. There's no weird thing with the G where it's, oh, you got a 50% chance to get this item, or, you know, if you lose your money. It's not like that. You know, that's what makes the Gielinor so desirable for people. Also, we have to move this again because it's banging. Right. Anyway, so yeah, as far as that's concerned, yeah, Jagex has yet to do anything about it, and indeed, we shall just have to see, eh? Indeed. Right, so I reckon probably this is a good point to stop it here, and that is indeed we're approaching that little turmoil. I can't say the words right. Big tumultuous battle between, yes, the rebels and the you know, the fucking. How can I not remember those? Oh, you'll see the fight soon enough, and I wager. Also, yeah, player and moderator. I didn't know you could actually tax a town cry of all people. Oh no, actually, you know, you can't. Oh no, actually, yeah, you. Oh dear. But yeah, I reckon I'll just cut off here, and next time, well, continue this long part of the series. Tell them, folks.